hush falls over the American Airlines Center as the final horn sounds. 88-78, Fever over Wings. No Caitlin Clark, no Paige Bueckers heroics, just the latest painful entry on Dallas's season ledger. For a team desperate to string together wins, this one cuts especially deep. A young Wings squad, fresh off a brief hot streak, came into Friday believing they'd finally found momentum. They'd snapped an 0-11 start by claiming 5 of 7 in late June, and the buzz was building. Then the Fever showed up without their own superstar, and suddenly every flaw in Dallas's game was magnified. Bueckers did everything she could. 22 points, 4 assists, 2 steals, relentless attack on both ends. But every time she dove for a loose ball, the whistle stayed silent. Every time she drove through contact, the refs waved play on. By the fourth quarter, the frustration bubbling inside Dallas boiled over. Players flung their arms skyward, coaches barked at the officials, and little by little, the Wings lost their composure. Dallas shot just 2 of 15 from three-point range. In a game where the Fever hoisted 28 triples and made 12, Dallas's perimeter offense looked more like a shooting gallery in lockdown. And those misses weren't just numbers. They were momentum stolen. Each airball seemed to echo through a locker room already fighting to stay positive. On the glass, Indiana bullied Dallas 44-30, crashing the offensive boards for 14 second-chance points to Dallas's 4. Liueru logged just 8 minutes, another sign of how mismatched the Wings were on the interior. Meanwhile, the Fever's size and length created a constant avalanche of rebounds that Dallas simply had no answer for. Head coach Chris Koclanes tried to rally the young roster after the game. "We've got to win games," he said, voice tight with disappointment. "We have to sit in this. It's not going to feel good, but you learn, you maintain a positive mindset, and you don't let one game affect the next." But in the locker room, the air smelled like doubt more than determination. Rotations felt erratic. Aziaha James, one of the team's brightest young sparks, played just 16 minutes, a steep drop from her 38-minute outburst earlier in July. "We had 10 available tonight," Koclanes explained. "When Maddie comes back, we'll have 11. If you divide 200 by 11, no one's going to be happy." Trying to forge consistency out of that churn has become one of Dallas's biggest challenges. Then there was Arike Ogunbowale. The veteran A-list star soaked up 26 of the first 30 minutes, only to vanish in the fourth quarter. When asked why she sat, Koclanes pointed to the bench group's brief surge of energy. "They had momentum," he insisted. Yet under that answer lay a crack. Koclanes later lamented that his guards were getting beat off the bounce, forcing his bigs to rotate down and surrender rebounding position. That admission hit like another body blow. Young guards are supposed to grow into pro-level defenders, but when they struggle, the whole system collapses. The posts can't box out when they're scrambling to cover perimeter mistakes, and suddenly a 10-point loss feels like a team in free fall, each possession a reminder of inexperience. Through it all, Bueckers remained a bright spot, showing why she's one of the league's most buzzed-about rookies. She attacked the rim, played fearless defense, and poured in buckets. Yet even her glow couldn't erase the gaps around her. Inconsistency, poor shot selection, rebounding woes, and a roster still trying to find its identity. This month, Dallas sits 8-21, 11th in the league, 7 games back of the final playoff spot. Each defeat is a stark lesson in how thin the margin is between a developing team and a contender. Practice reps only go so far. Until these Wings learn to close out quarters, compete on the glass, and defend in space, wins will remain a rare commodity. Still, there's a long season ahead, and youth can be a double-edged sword. Mistakes happen, but so do burst-out performances on any given night. If Dallas can bottle the energy of their midsummer surge and blend it with Bueckers' obvious talent, they'll inch closer to consistency. But Friday's game delivered a harsh reality check. Building chemistry and gaining experience doesn't feel nearly as good as a win. The scoreboard never lies, and for this Wings squad, it's a constant reminder that promise needs results. Until they find answers on the perimeter, in the paint, and under the basket, frustration will be the loudest sound echoing through the AAC. Friday night's 88-78 loss to an Indiana Fever squad missing Caitlin Clark underscored just how many growing pains the young Dallas Wings still have to endure. In a rematch of the College Park Center Showcase, both teams swapped venues for a rare Arlington appearance at the American Airlines Center, but the result was eerily familiar. The host team once again left empty-handed. Dallas, 8-21, came into July blazing, winning 5 of 7 games, only to hit a wall with 3 straight double-digit defeats. On Friday, despite Paige Bueckers' 22-point, 4-assist, 2-steal masterpiece, the Wings never found a consistent counterpunch to a Fever roster that attacked the rim with relentless physicality. The first half set the tone. Indiana shot 12 of 28 from 3, compared to Dallas's 2 of 15, and out-rebounded the Wings 44-30, 14 of those on the offensive glass. Each offensive rebound turned into a new scoring opportunity for the Fever, while the Wings watched far too many second-chance points slip through their grasp. "I thought we matched their effort in spurts," coach Chris Koclanes admitted afterward. "But when you give up 14 offensive boards and that many threes, you're in for a long night." He acknowledged his team's youth and the inevitability of mistakes, but bristled at the mounting frustration on the bench. "You learn from it or you dwell on it," he said. "We're choosing to learn." On the Wings' end, Bueckers was a nearly singular bright spot. She navigated a brutal Indiana closeout defense to find rhythm in the second half, lighting it up from mid-range and attacking in transition. Yet even her brilliance couldn't paper over the gaps elsewhere. Arike Ogunbowale played 26 of the first 30 minutes and then sat the entire fourth quarter, a rotation decision. Koclanes defended as following the momentum of a bench group that briefly cut the deficit to single digits late in the third. But rebounding woes were not strictly a front court issue. "Our guards are getting beat off the bounce," Koclanes said, "so our posts have to rotate to protect the rim. Then they can't get back to rebound." He called it a systemic problem of spacing and effort. If you can't guard one-on-one, you have to send help, but that help can't turn into more paint points. Dallas's defensive lapses were also magnified by foul trouble. A handful of borderline calls went against the Wings down the stretch, and the officiating drew audible groans from both bench and stands. Coach Koclanes didn't dwell on that after the final horn. "Not my focus," he said, but Bueckers lamented the physical edge Indiana enjoyed. "We just have to embrace that contact," she said. "This is the WNBA. Everyone is going to bang." The loss extends a familiar theme. Talent alone won't translate to wins without cohesion and discipline. For a roster with multiple role players chasing rotation stability, every game is a test of patience. "We have to sit in this," Koclanes said. "It's not going to feel good, but we learn and come back with a positive mindset." With veteran returnee Madalena Silva set to rejoin the group soon, minutes will grow even scarcer. "If you divide 200 minutes by 11 players, nobody's happy," Koclanes admitted. "That's on me each night." The Wings will need all hands on deck and a cooler temperament to right the ship. Dallas's next test comes Sunday at home against a surging Mystics team. If Friday's frustration is any indication, these Wings still have plenty of turbulence ahead before they learn to soar.